Good evening, people. We are back, and it is Thursday night, 8 o'clock. This is the new standard time that we like to do streaming at because it's just nice, isn't it? So let's put our faces a bit more like. I didn't really like this. I don't like this little layout. I think it's too close to my face. Mm-hmm. You can see all like that. You can see really all my skin, and you can, see inside it. We don't want that. We're not a biology channel. Yeah, this is quite nice. This is quite like laid back, isn't it? Well, first of all, welcome to everybody that is joining. I can see, a good amount of people are jumping in the stream as we speak. I just want to say before, if you've got a chance, me and Megaphone Man, who you saw on the last stream, Lee, absolute legend, me and him, we've been tearing up Twitter this week. We've had a busy week, and we've set up a little account called Football Through the 92. Oh, you probably can't see it, can you? There we go. Football Through the 92. Give it a check out. Give it a follow. We're going to be doing some awesome stuff with that in the coming months. But we're not going to let that take away from tonight's stream because we're here for an hour and 15 minutes, and then we'll pick you over to Door on Tour's stream. And we've got the amazing with me. We've got at Lasty Nico. It's great to have you with me tonight. We're going to be talking everything Nottingham Forest, which I can guarantee is why you guys are all here. So we're gonna try and listen to some of these comments. We've got some comments coming in. Hello, Mark, Eve. Hello, hope you're having a great evening, guys. Lewis, good evening. Kel, hope you're doing well. Hi, Rosie, I can see you on Facebook. Tim, great to hear from you, my friend. EZ, legend, love you, man. And Kel followed and retweeted. Thanks so much for that. Now, as I say, I've got my guest Nico here tonight, who's not really a guest, he's a panelist. You are a panelist. And we're going to be talking all about Nottingham Forest. Now, where do we start? This week has been already quite interesting. We've had news from Daniel Taylor at the Telegraph last night. In fact, the most important news, I would say, other than the John Percy news we got of a Brennan Johnson contract today for 4 years. Now, Daniel Taylor said that Niakhate is back in the equation for Forest. After the bid was rejected, Forest made a bid of around 6 million, I believe it was, and Mans at the time wanted about 10. They're now wanting 13 million, and talks are back on. So would you say that perhaps Forest have put in a higher bid? Things are looking a bit more optimistic now.
Yeah, I mean, for a few million, it's not much when you're looking at the style of defender he is and the experience. I mean, he's their captain, or he was their captain at least. He's only 26, so I think that would be a really good thing to get some more experience and some more captains in the team, because at the moment, Forest captain wise, those role models, you'd think Worrell, Cook, Colback, Graben, but it's always good to add another one in there in the mix just to get that leadership as well, those leadership qualities.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was thinking, a good evening to everybody that's joining in. Tim, absolute legend. Craig, great to have you here. Now that's Saucy. Hi, how you doing? Hope we are all well this evening. Thank you, Rebel City lad. Guys, make sure if you drop a subscribe, a like, and make sure you drop comments as well. I'll leave the invite. So if you want to come on the stream and just give us a bit of your thoughts on what's going on, just click that stream link that's just down below if you're on any of the platforms. So players will start to be signed from tomorrow. Absolutely. Contracts expire 30th of June. Yeah. But as you said, Nico, there's the idea we have got decent experience in the team. The concern would be, though, it's age. The thing with Niakhate that strikes out to me is that he's not a 32-year-old defender, and that's in no disrespect to Jack Colback or Steve Cook, because they are absolutely fantastic. Perhaps some of the best defenders that Forest have been blessed with over the last decade, and all round great people. But Niakhate is 25, and he's already got captain experience, and he's got experience in a very, very good league, world renowned. I don't see why people wouldn't want him. But then there's also the question of the valuation. Is £13 million too much? Now, my research into this guy is not extensive. I'm sure Dave Murphy's done a lot more than we have. But arguably, there's still got to be that question asked. 13 million is a lot of money. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it is a lot of money. But when supposedly we've put a 10 million bid in, that extra, they're wanting 13 mil, but we could go for another offer just a little bit lower. But 3 million's not much at all. I don't think it's not. in the Championship, 3 million is quite a lot, but with the money we've got and the money that Marinakis will be investing as well, I think it's an option. I really do.
And I think you're also investing in the future with that kind of player.
Yeah.
Because I think what happens is, as soon as you're paying £13 million for a player like that, you bring them in, they have a few games. I mean, as soon as you move to the Premier League, you've already got a boost in your value, right? That's just a given. That's a given. You move to the Premier League and he's got what? 3, 4, 5 million included on his price tag minimum, So, and we've got some people just commenting now. Would Cook be benched if we signed Niakhate? That's an interesting one because
I was thinking about that because I've seen a few people make their team like their supposed like team that would start the first game and stuff, and I've seen people leave out Cook. I personally, I wouldn't leave out Cook. I'd start him for the first game. Obviously, it depends if we do sign Niakhate and if what they see in him, but the way Cook was playing at the end of last season and spraying balls about, and we talked about it before. He was saying that he's learning more and stuff. But I would personally start Cook, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes and how he would fit in because he's a left-footed player, Niakhate. So would he slip in the middle where Cook's position, and or would he go left and McKenna slip into Cook's position? So
it's all a very interesting debate. And before I go on to what I was going to say, Eve, we will be doing more live streams when we sign players. Obviously, college is a bit of something that pulls me back at the moment. I mean, I've just finished my mocks, so how much time I'm going to be in college this month? Come on, mocks are done. I won't talk about today's exam, but yeah, mocks are done. So you best believe that there will be some days where I've probably, I'll come into college an hour later or whatever, because I want to do some streams for you guys. I've done that exam and I'm going to keep working hard in school and outside of school. So that's to answer your question. And so I think Niakhate moving into Scott McKenna's position would be a bit controversial, I must say, because I think McKenna's been fantastic there. Could he do it in centre? Could he do it in centre back? People, let us know what you're thinking. Now, we've got Patch Adams here, who says last year of his contract, 13 million seems a bit steep. 30, yeah, wow. Yeah. Last year, you contract 13 million. But I can imagine Men's probably know he's not going to sign a new contract. And they're going to want money. And this is the same with Spence. I think as a fan base, as much as we want to go, well, why won't they just sell him for less? It's a case of, well, if you had a Niakhate or if you had a Spence in your team and you knew they were both potentially world class, or Premier League good enough, you're going to want to get the most for them, aren't you? That's just the logical thing. Yeah,
and obviously we're now Premier League, so people are going to try and get every penny they can get off us, especially most teams are going to try to get any sort of money from us, really. But we've got to stand firm. We can't let clubs take advantage of us. And if we say, or the backroom staff or anything say, this is our limit. If you say that to a club and then you go over the limit, it's like it sends a weird message, really, that they can take advantage of you. Yeah, and I think it's important that this early on into our Premier League stint, we're very careful with our money and try to get the best deal possible, really.
And the question would be, though, and this is a question perhaps for people in the comments, and I know I'm going to read some of your comments in just a moment. To what extent can you, how far can you pull that elastic band, if you like? You know what I mean? Because how far can we push clubs before they go, do you know what? No, we're not going to sell you this player. We're going to send him to like Fulham or Bournemouth or, Man City for the future or whatever, because Nico Williams, we've had the bid rejected, £11 million plus, I think it was 4 million in add-ons. So, there's going to be, we're going to need to realistically make a higher offer. Niakhate, you're going to need to make a higher offer. And just for you guys, we haven't made a bid for Morgan Gibbs-White. It was circulating that we had, and we haven't. And that was
going around, though. It's really
there's so much going around, but it's really hard not to try and, because I post things to be optimistic. Because I like the idea of being optimistic. I do it because I love it. You can follow me on Twitter at I'm Jamie Martin if you're interested as well, just for any transfer stuff. And if you just want to chat. But we've got some comments coming in. Cookie for me is the man that Tim Shipman wants. Mark Dennis here, left-footed, so you can't play him on the right, plus no chance of dropping McKenna. It's an interesting, controversial debate for sure, but I think centre-back could get a look in.
There's a point I wanted to make about that. Well, it's just a small one. It's like, I know we're not really should look at the clips and stuff, but the few clips I've seen of Niakhate, he was quite progressive and doing a lot, like pushing forward with the ball.
Which is what we need, isn't it?
Like McKenna would, and started doing. Like sometimes you see McKenna, he was a left winger. He'd be getting in the box, and it's what you like to see. Progressive centre backs that can play the ball forward and carry it and push the team forward, really, in difficult situations.
And when you lose a keeper like Samba that loves to play it up so quick, it's a question of whether Jordan Henderson will do the same thing at the same pace. So the defenders are going to have a lot to work from, working out the back. Now we've got Ben here, and he says, I'm a bit more worried about our midfielder situation. Seems to be a lack of rumours. Aribo and Morgan Gibbs-White, it just, to me, doesn't look like any bids have been made. There's probably interest there. I think there's definitely interest. People that are inside the club have probably said that Forest are interested. There's no doubt about it in both players. Rumours don't just start from nowhere. There is evidence behind it. It's just finding that and finding who it's from. But Forest are interested. But as it stands now, Wolves have said that they see Morgan Gibbs-White in their team next season. So quite worrying when you think they're also a Premier League team. They said, do you think the extra defender will be used as a sweeper and defensive midfield?
That's a good point. That is.
I don't think so. I think the defenders that we're bringing in are a bit too defensive to. I mean, okay, you mentioned the idea of going into attack, but I still think they're too defensive for that kind of.
It was only like a minute clip that I saw of him.
But you do brief stints, don't you? We've seen Scott McKenna and he does some like crazy roulette around people, but he's not the next Messi. Is he? I mean, you don't know what Steve Cooper can do. Is just endless, isn't it? But we've got Tim Shipman. Yes, we do need Morgan Gibbs-White, big player, big presence, physical. And he's proven well in the Championship. Premier League, he's done all right as well. So, strengthen midfield. We're getting a lot of this, guys. We need to extra quality like Niakhate if we're going to have a chance of staying in this league, and also preserving our position in this league if we stay up, because that guy is young and he's got a lot of time ahead of him. And quality midfield are definitely needed. So, Morgan Gibbs-White and Aribo, probably the latest rumours for midfielders. And we've also had Harry Toffolo as a left-back. So does this put a spanner in the works for the idea of Djed Spence and Nico Williams having both of them? I think it potentially does.
With Toffolo, you mean?
No. In case if we were to buy Toffolo, we would not have the Nico Williams and Djed Spence situation. It would just be Nico Williams and Harry Toffolo. Right. Are people content with that? How do people feel? Would you rather have Nico Williams in his natural position, or would you rather have him kind of out of that but still playing well? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, with the right, apparently we're going in for that Issa Kabore or something, or however you say it. That,
from Man City, yeah.
And that supposedly might be a loan, if anything, because and that might be a backup option if we were to get Nico Williams, I think. But I kind of like the Harry Toffolo rumours because he's a bit of a knobhead in the nicest way. A bit of a shit ass,
I think he's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
So it's like he's the sort of person you hate, and I didn't like him when Forest played him unless he's in your team. And I like those players when they're in your team. It's brilliant, like Samba and stuff. Obviously, sadly, Samba's going, but that kind of player just to rile up the other fans and rile up the other players basically. And he's got quite a few assists last season and a fair few goals as well, like 5 goals, 6 or 8 assists, something like that. So they're technically better stats than Djed Spence. I mean, I can't always go by stats, but the fact that he's got that many assists means we'd have a bit more of an attacking push on that left side.
There's promise there.
Yeah.
There's promise there. And we've got, so, and someone agrees with you here. Before I go to that though, Ross Barkley being linked, I did not know that. I've not seen any of the Ross Barkley rumours, but NFFC Player Watch, good evening. Reported today that Kabore will be permanent. That's interesting. I mean, quite hard to get into a Man City team. I think it would argue. I mean, you look at Zinchenko, and he's been there for God knows how long, and he's got a few first team appearances, but it looks like he's going to be leaving this
And he's a
summer.
quality player.
And he's great. So I wouldn't mind having him at Forest, but I can imagine a big price tag on him. If we get Toffolo, Huddersfield fans will be livid. I think Max Lowe will be more livid. I don't know if you remember seeing that clip. That clip where Max Lowe just completely shoves him. I think it was in the FA Cup, that was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was. I remember commentating on that thinking, what on earth just happened? We've got Nico Williams, RWE, and Harry Toffolo, LWE. Spence is pretty much a Spurs player. Yeah, it looks like Spurs are about to meet the £15 million valuation that Middlesbrough have put out. I don't know what's happened with their guy that they were looking at. I don't know if it was at Lens in France. I can't remember the team that it is. But it's a French team, and they've got a guy called Klaus, and they were looking at him, and it just looks like Spence is still the better option. So I don't know how much the French team are valuing that player. But if you're paying 15 million for Spence, you've certainly changed your mind a bit there. Yeah. So Toffolo would be a better signing than Lowe. Squad needs bulking up with quality and future talent. Well, the question I would ask to you then, Craig, is, and in fact to everybody in the comments is, do you not think though, if you're paying 2 or 3 million for Max Lowe, which is a decent fee, do you not still think that there is a place in the squad for him? I mean, obviously he's not going to be playing first team, but we're going to need depth in the squad. Do you not think that there is an area for Max Lowe to play in? What do you think about that, Nico?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they go about the business wise. Are they looking for the first choice first and then go for the like maybe second choice? Because Max Lowe, although he's a quality player and stuff, but he wouldn't be first choice in the Premier League, or you'd think not, at least. So yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
Because people tend not to think about, and this is the thing about football, people don't think about what the player wants. People are very quick to just go, well, we want Spence. But you are not Spence at this point. Because Spence, I can imagine, probably sitting down on holiday somewhere or in his living room now, and he's probably having to think about all this stuff. He's got to think about where he wants to play next season. There's an opportunity to play in the Champions League, the highest level of football in the entire world, right? And you might argue the World Cup, but I think the Champions League, in terms of what we're talking about now, is the highest level of football you will reach in the entire world. He's got a big decision to make, but equally, this could go very well, and he could step into that team, and Conte could bring him on like I would think he would, because Conte's a great coach and a great manager. But equally, it could go very wrong, and the issues could arise. But I think if he did go to Spurs, as much as I don't want to say it because I like Spence being at Forest, I think he'd do okay. Do I think it's a big jump? Yes, I do. But I think he would do okay over time. But it's going to take a lot of training, isn't it? It's going to take a lot of coaching. But, Conte's got it in him.
Yeah, so, do Spurs play a back four? So he'd have to, if they are playing a back four, he would have to change his game up a bit, because you saw it. I think it was the Liverpool game. He kept trying to do those driving runs on the right side, and he was getting caught out a bit sometimes, and people were having a go. And you can't do that there. You can't do that with those sort of players against you, and especially in a battle. The thing with Forest, he knows how the system's played and stuff, and he knows how to play to his strengths. But I'm sure he has every confidence in himself that he can fulfill that role for Spurs.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy, no.
Not going to be easy, but he's got time to do that. He's young. He's, 20. Why not? It's a big step. Perhaps maybe he'll spend a couple of years at Spurs, and I think he'll probably end up having a couple of loans along that time. And if he can't really find his place at Spurs, then they'll sell him. I think I can see that's how it'll play out if he goes to Spurs. I don't see him being first team straight away. But equally, I've seen Tottenham fans say that they don't like Emerson Royale, so they want someone new there. Now, looking at the comments, and don't forget, guys, there's 40 of you in this live stream, which is amazing, absolutely fantastic for these streams. I'm so glad we started off with 12 or 18 people, which is still amazing, and we now got 40. So if you can, just drop a subscribe. It only takes a second. Just click the red button. We're nearly at 300. Yeah, get the big red
Somewhere
button. I
around
wish I could click. I wish I could click where it is. I think it's somewhere down there. Just click the big red button and subscribe for us, because at the end of the day, you guys make this possible, and I'm really enjoying doing this, and like it as well. Yeah, push that engagement up. We like that. And if we can get to 300 by the end of the week, I would be really, really happy with that. I mean, we were at 100 last week, so I can't complain. Now we've got a lot of people. Cloco here, is Nico really worth £13 million? Craig saying, who do we prefer, Nico or Spence? Seems we have zero chance with Spence, though. I don't think we have zero chance, because I still think that there's some agitation at Middlesbrough. I mean, they didn't want to pay that 50 million, and now they do. And Forest have maybe spoke to them in between that time. So I would say it's probably 60-40 in Tottenham's favour. But yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those. I think it likely will be Tottenham that do get him. But Nico, do you think that's just a given? Do you think it's just 100% Tottenham again? What are your thoughts on that?
Nothing's 100% in football, but there's still a small chance we could get him. But obviously, he's going to be confident in himself, like I said, to take that first team spot. But he'll know that he will get that first team spot at Forest. That's the thing. So surely there's got to be something in mulling it over in his mind in that sense. But it's whoever it goes for him, really. It's whoever the bid's accepted. And I think either team that gets the bid accepted, he'll accept. He's not going to refuse either offer, is he, really? I don't think so, anyway. I don't think he'll refuse Forest or definitely not Tottenham, but yeah.
There's big offers coming in from all over the world by the looks of it. I mean, I even heard at one point that Atletico Madrid were looking at him, because I know that they were looking at Matty Cash not even that long ago. And there was rumours of £40 million being chucked around. So I hope we've got a 50% transfer, future transfer fee on that. But we've got people just commenting. Rosie Shield, I hope you're having a great day. It's great to see you with, I think that was your cricket hat on there. Fantastic, good work. And Tim Shipman wishing Djed well. That cigar pick was amazing. Surprised we've not heard anything about Grab and sign a new contract. I think that will just come. I think it's just going to take time. He's probably on holiday. Most of these lads are on holiday if they're not back training now. So I think it will take time. And I think we'll probably see his signature at some point in the next week. I think next week is going to be a very big week for Forest.
Yeah,
and it looks like Henderson is going to have, and this is it, yeah. So someone's just mentioned the NFFC Player Watch. Henderson is signing tomorrow by the looks of it, because of the fact that we are seeing that his medical is going to be happening. So very, very interesting. Dean Henderson in a Forest shirt. Will we see the kits announced alongside it? I thought kits were going to be announced today, but we haven't had that so far. I mean, you never know the admins.
They're probably waiting for. Sorry, they're probably waiting for that next signing.
Yeah.
The kits, like it's 2-in-1. Way of doing it.
So do you think tomorrow might be the date then?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think. Although supposedly is on holiday now, so it might get announced on the day after, maybe.
I did see a picture of him actually in the UK now. That's the thing. Someone showed me a picture of him in the UK from a TikTok. So, and it was, and at first I looked at this TikTok and I went, it's not Dean Henderson, and it wasn't. But then they showed me another video and it was Dean Henderson. So unless it's an old TikTok, I'm pretty sure this guy's back from his honeymoon. And if not, he's back tomorrow. I still don't get the idea of doing a medical after a honeymoon. It just doesn't seem right, does it? But we've got Lewis Kettle T. Sorry if I said that wrong. I think Taiwo Awoniyi is a great signing for us. Physical player, full of pace. Yeah, and I think the unfortunate thing about the transfer window is because the fact that Taiwo Awoniyi is almost becoming irrelevant news now, which is crazy. The club's record signing, and people have already moved on to Aribo and Morgan White. Yeah, where's the next one? Come on, where are they? You know what I mean? You don't take this for granted, guys. This is once in a decade or 2-3 decades. This is for me. This is my once in a lifetime so far. Perhaps even the same for you, Nico. I don't know how old you are, but like 21 or, just, being kind of, but you know what I'm saying, though.
Makes it older.
It's, yeah. I've not quite got my mustache quite as good as yours, but, give it time. We've got Mark here. Henderson was on honeymoon, so couldn't sign earlier. Yep, correct. Brennan's got to unveil the new kit with his brand new. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? He's got to do it with those sunglasses on. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. You should do a live stream when the kit is announced and ask fans to give their opinion. I will. And I'm going to have a picture of the kit next to me. So, and it'll probably, if it is tomorrow, then it looks like I'm going to have to do a live stream before class, doesn't it? So I'll find a way to do one, and you best believe I'm going to do it. Eon as the next kit sponsor. I don't know about that. I think Boxed are they not still the sponsors, or is their sponsorship deal up? I don't know.
So. Usually it's like a 2-year contract with sponsors, isn't it?
I was going to say they've only been in 1 year, haven't they?
Yeah, I'd assume it'll be Boxed as well.
But that's what I expect anyway. We've got Cloco here. It says we'll spend. I think it'll be more than that, Cloco. I think it'll be more in the region of around 110 million. If I'm being completely honest, I think Forest have got a massive spending spree to make. I think 70 million would be, although great, I think it's still not quite enough if we're looking at the players that we want to buy. And we've got an NFFC player watch again here. Shame there's nothing about much in Aribo as a 10 million release clause. Okay, I'm going to ask this question before I bring Djed Spence into this, who you may have seen on Door on Tour last week. Absolute legend of the fan base, and he's in. I can see him in the studio now. He's waiting to be let in. I'm going to bring him in now. You know what, sod it. We're going to bring him in. Do you think, everybody, that Aribo, and welcome to the stream. It's great to have you. Do you think Aribo? Hello, I hope you're good. Do you think Aribo is really worth £10 million? I don't know enough about him to say whether he's worth 10 million, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I think I'm the same as you, mate. I've only seen a little bit about him, but he does look solid. He looks like he'd be a good addition to the squad. Don't know if he'd be a starter. I think we could find a better player to start, but he'd certainly be an amazing squad player. And he's played a lot of positions for Rangers over the last season or so. He's ended up playing a striker a couple of times. So played around that midfield place. He looks like he's got bags of skill, pace. He's strong on the ball. The only thing that seems to let him down is his final ball, but we can train that. We started the season last year with Djed Spence, bombing down that wing, but not really getting any assists. And then you saw Steve Cooper even said he had a quiet word with him, and he said, you're doing all this, but you're not getting the end product, you're not getting the assists. And so it can be trained, it can be taught. I want players with potential. We're not going to get the finished article unless you want to pay 60, 70, 80 million. And I don't think we're in that market just yet. But I'm so excited with some of the players that we are being linked with, because there's none of them. Toffolo today as well. Toffolo I really liked. I was kind of waiting for him to be linked with us, to be honest. And seeing as some of his highlight reels from last season, he's a very attacking player. He gets wide, high on the left-hand side, whips the ball in. I saw one stat that if he was in our squad, only James Garner would have got more crosses and created more chances than him. So he's definitely been doing the role for Huddersfield, and he had that little streak of goals at the end of the season as well. So he was one of the players actually that I was worried about going into that final
games or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he was just hitting form at the wrong time for us. So I was like, no, we don't want him doing too well. And well, we won't talk about penalty claim, but I think he'd be a really good addition. And but you need, I think I commented today, but you need 2 players for each position, and there's got to be competition in each position. And going back to the Nico Williams, he can play both sides, can't he? He can play left wing back, he can play right wing back. Look at what Colback did to us, the unsung hero of last season. He turned himself into a hero last season by filling in the role. So my only concern would we still go for Max Lowe? Because the only thing that bothers me, and it's not even a small concern, is his injury record, So you'd need somebody solid out. You got to have competition in that position, definitely. I don't know what you guys think, but you got to have a competition in each position, 2 players for each role.
Like, do you reckon and I don't think so personally, but do you think they'll be looking at Colback in that position, or getting another left back in as well? or would Colback slot back into the midfield and be purely a midfielder for the Premier League?
I think you got to have adaptable players. You got to have players who can play in a number of positions. So Colback, he's got Premier League experience as well, so it's not going to be new for him. In fact, he's one of the few of our squad currently who has got Premier League experience. Yeah. So yeah, no, you definitely keep Colback in purely because he's, and it's not as if he didn't just do it in the Championship. He did it in the FA Cup games, didn't he? Yeah, Saka had one chance against him in the whole 90 minutes, didn't he? And so, yeah, I'd have no problems with having to slot him in occasionally. But I think he should primarily be a midfielder. But when you've got a player like that who can play both roles, I think they're essential. You've got to have, like I say, 2 players for each position, and you've got to have a couple that are, adaptable in a couple of different positions. And, I think, you got to look at those kind of players. And, you got to keep Colback in whatever position you can get him. And if you can adapt him to positions, that's 2 players, basically. He's 2 positions, 1 player is covering. So, yeah, fantastic. You've got to give him a chance in the Premier League. But there is one player, and I don't know if I want to raise it now or later, but I've seen it in several comments in several live streams, and I'll bring it up now. I might as well mention it. Joe Lolley. What do we think about Joe Lolley in the Premier League? Is he going to get a chance? Because he's one name that isn't getting a look in at the moment. What do you guys think?
Don't know, man. I don't know.
I personally, I don't think he'll be used. He'll be utilised. Joe Lolley I think he'll come on in the last 10 minutes when we need something, and hoping that he hits some form and gets a couple goals. But I think he'll be a last 10 minutes player and not a starter.
I think people were too harsh on him last season. I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to move on to, because I know that people are commenting now about the goalkeeper stuff. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I think people in the fan base were a bit harsh on Joe Lolley last season. Not easy to get into a team like this. It really is not easy at all. And I think he really did give it his all. You saw him come on. And I think during that Sheffield United game at home, at Sheffield, at Bramall Lane, I think he was really good. I think he came on, he had that boost of enthusiasm and passion. And him, James Garner, they just ripped it up. And people talking about another position now. We've got goalkeepers. People saying the likes of Darlow as a backup keeper. Would you have him back? Ben Foster would be a great backup keeper. I'm inclined to agree, actually. Will he be taking? He won't be doing any vlogging. He'll have to ask me and Dor about that first. Listen, if you're listening, Mr. Dor, he's not doing vlogging on our watch, okay? We're not going to let it happen. But yeah, lots of people saying take Darlow, and we've got now that's saucy. Jay, do you know any transfer news account which is reliable? I mean, I'm just going to plug myself there. I'm Jamie Martin on Twitter. But Fabrizio Romano is fantastic, and Daniel Taylor, I really recommend him. He's brilliant. John Percy. Paul Taylor, really, really good, reliable accounts. But yeah, I think, a lot of people, the idea of John Ruddy coming to the City Ground, I don't know about that. I just think that's too far past it for me. Not a bad keeper by any means. I've always liked watching John Ruddy, but I think I would rather have someone like Ben Foster, and although he's older, he's actually been quite recently a first team keeper, or, at least a fairly, used keeper at Watford. So that's just my view. What are your thoughts on that? Would you have Ben Foster as a backup, or who would you have as a backup? Because it looks like Horvath and Samba are essentially gone now.
We forget is Horvath. I don't know what I thought of Horvath is, but whether he will go on loan or sell him, or I think he's worth staying, but obviously he wants to get that first team football for America, doesn't he? Those international games. So it's a tricky situation because you don't want to bring in that not an exciting rumor getting John Ruddy. Really, I know he's a quality keeper and all, but he's almost just there for the paycheck at his last end of his career, isn't he? Not going to be fighting for that spot, and maybe his reflexes aren't as good as they once were. Yeah.
What's your thought on that, Djed? What are you thinking about that?
No, absolutely. I think I'd agree with Nick on that, and that'd be my same concern for Foster as well. To be honest, we're just coming to get a paycheck or jumping on the Nottingham Forest bandwagon, because obviously, hopefully, this Dean Henderson deal's almost signed and sealed. So he's mid-20s. He's about 25 years old, isn't he? There is merit in having an experienced backup, but you've got to have competition, and it's a real shame. I really do feel sorry for Horvath out of all of the players that we're bringing up from the Premier League. He's the one bringing up to the Premier League. He's the one that I think he's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong, and he did, he didn't do anything to lose his position other than he went on went on the break to play for the USA. So that was the only thing that let him down, but that's not his fault, So I feel sorry for him, but you can't begrudge him also wanting to move somewhere where he's going to get the chance to play. Leading up to a World Cup, and we can't promise him that. It would be wrong for us to compound his misery by standing in his way. So he's got to be given a chance to go somewhere if that's what if he gets the opportunity. So a backup keeper, you want someone with experience in the Premier League, ideally. And there are people out there. Another one that was mentioned was what's his name? He used to be the Man City goalkeeper. His name was mentioned as well. I'm forgetting his name now. I'm sorry, I've totally forgotten his name.
Joe Hart.
Yeah.
Joe Hart.
Joe Hart.
I like Joe Hart, to be fair.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think it was sad how he kind of his career demise, if you like. I found that really sad. I mean, he's at Celtic now, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah. And I believe he's looking for another club. So he has been linked with us early on in the window, and I've not heard anything since. But there's going to be players that are in the shortlist that we've never even heard of, and I'm sure there's going to be. They know what they need. They know they need 2 players for each position at least. They know they need competition in every position. I'm just absolutely confident in that backroom team in a way that I haven't been for a long time. And I think you guys will agree, some of the haphazard signings we've made over the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 seasons have been, disastrous at times. We've still got players on our books that we're suffering from, and I'm not going to mention it now because I don't really want to have a go at him. But we signed players on 3-year contracts on 30, 40 grand a week in the championship, But we'll get it right this time. I firmly believe we'll get it right this time. And if we have to pay that little bit extra to get Niakhate in, I think he's worth it. I think he's one where, we might have to pay over odds slightly, but he's not going to lose value, So definitely he's one I probably would push the boat out a little bit more because I think he'll make a difference. And I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but I think it would mean a bit of more of a backseat for Cook, in my opinion, and it would be looking to push McKenna into that central holding position, and obviously Niakhate on the left side of defence. But that looks solid for me. And why wouldn't you want Steve Cook as a backup in your squad? He's a fantastic player.
It's a hard reality that fans are going to have to face. That decision is going to have to be made. Unless you wanted like four at the back with 2 more wing backs, something absolutely ridiculous and never seen. You'd have to make that compromise. And I'll just say to everybody in the chat as well, talking about midfielders, particularly Ryan Yates. We spoke about this on Door on Tour, and I'll just say before everybody, kind of keeps commenting, please do subscribe if you can. We're so close to 300 subscribers. Like we're literally 15 off now, if that. So please just subscribe if you can. This would make my absolute day if you could do this, my week, my year, whatever. Honestly, I love it, and it means a lot to me. So just, drop a subscribe, like if you can. And I'm here with Nico and EZ, and we're going to be talking about some absolutely awesome stuff with Forest. We've got around 30 minutes left. We're going to be talking about Yates now for this bit, because Ryan Yates is a player, and in particular also James Garner as well. Obviously we can't get James Garner back unless it was a permanent deal. But I don't personally, and I really like James Garner. I think he's a really good player with a lot of potential. I don't think he's Premier League quality yet. The question about Ryan Yates, though, I think he's got more of a chance. And I know they play, differently, evidently. But I think, do you think Ryan Yates has got more of a chance than James Garner? Obviously they're different players, but I just think Ryan Yates has a bit more of the physical side to him for me. And I think James Garner's not quite there yet. I think he's got a bit of development to do.
As you say, they're a different type of player. But the thing about Yates is every single manager that's that's been at Forest has picked Yates, and he's played pretty much every game. And he's what I think he's missed in all those managers is he's a sort of player that needs someone to say, you need to do this, you need to do that, and tell him what to do and what areas he needs to go for and what attributes he can use in the game. And he will succeed because he's that sort of guy that he'll keep training and he'll keep doing it until he gets it right, kind of thing. So I think in that sense, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays in the Premier League with Steve Cooper.
Very motivated player. And I think a lot of people thinking this is the kind of guy that Forest need on and off the pitch. This is the guy that people, you want to be telling other youngsters like, look, this is what I did to get into this team. I love Forest. I've grew up around this, me, Worrell and Jordan Smith and the lads. And it's quite an interesting question. I just think Ryan Yates has more of a chance than Garner. And before I get to you, Djed, and kind of ask your opinion on this, Breeze Samba, people saying he's gone for 5 million. It does look like they're closing in on a 5 million deal. RC Lens, it's a decent fee. I can't possibly complain about that. But what do you think about like Ryan Yates and James Garner? Do you think that James Garner has more of a place in the Premier League, or do you think Ryan Yates has more of a place in the Premier League?
Yeah, no, I think Yates, he definitely seems much more adaptable, and he's definitely come leaps and bounds, season in, season out. I've said this before. I think he's one player that I've followed over the last 3 or 4 seasons since he came in, but you've seen real improvement every year, and the amount of goals he managed to secure last season as well, from basically a centre defensive midfield position. That's really impressive. He's one of our own as well, so I'm going to obviously afford him a bit more time, and I think we should now, and I think fans are now, where at one point they were first to get on his back. I think now you don't see that as much, and rightly so. Something that others have mentioned before, Forest fans can be really fickle, and I think we're going to see that a lot this season. And we've seen a little bit of it now. It is a little bit frustrating that more players haven't been signed and deals sealed by now, but you got to look at how short this gap between the season has been, and some of the players we're looking at, we've only, like you say, only just got married, only just come back off holiday. We've got to understand that. I know we're impatient and we'll always will be, but let's not ever lose the faith in what Scott's here, because last season was a lot about keeping with the team, wasn't it? At times, we were on a real roller coaster ride, but I've never seen the support so in one direction. We didn't have much negativity out, obviously, after the first 7 games, but after Cooper came in, it was such a roller coaster ride, and it was all pushed in the right direction. So it had to finish the way it did finish, and it had to end the way it did. But let's not slip into, moaning about
old habits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you'll see it. You will see it, because I've never seen so many Forest shirts in my life. Walking around town or wherever I'm in Ilkeston, Sherwood, Nottingham, Beeston, wherever. I've never seen so many, and it's great to see. Obviously, it's great to see. But let's not be fickle about it. We've got a chance of a generation. And I'm really happy for. I've seen it before, and I've seen it when it was at the best. But 94-95 season with Stan Collymore and finishing 3rd. That, in my whole life following Forest, is the best season, without a doubt, hands down. We weren't outside the top 5 once all season, from the start, and we went top. I remember for 24 hours after we beat Everton away, we went top of the Premier League for 24 hours. I'll never forget that. But to get this opportunity again, and I want us to all really, really soak it up, because it's something that we've waited a long, long time for, and let's not get, a bit, if we have to wait a little bit longer for the right place to come in, I trust the backroom team, and that was my point, but, they know what they're doing. They've clearly done their homework, and you've got to just bide the time and hope that when these deals are, and I think there will be 2 or 3 in a row, when they do get announced, whether we'll see anything towards the end of this week. But I agree with you, Jay. I think next week's going to be a massive week in terms of signings being announced, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not even privy to, and we be privy to. But yeah, I trust them.
it's looking like at the moment that Henderson, as we've mentioned, and for people joining now, we're talking a bit about transfer news. Henderson is going to be joining potentially tomorrow, as early as medical, happening very, very soon. And this has all been confirmed by numerous sources. And it looks like Nottingham Forest back in the race to sign Niakhate. It looks like Nottingham Forest potentially taking on Aribo. There's a couple of players being linked here and there, but these seem to be the solid kind of talks that people are having. And it seems like Harry Toffolo, Niakhate, well, Dean Henderson is pretty much a given at this point, and Aribo and Nico Williams, I think, are looking like the biggest transfer news at the moment for Nottingham Forest. And we've got Rebel City lad here who says we'll sign players out of the blue of not being linked. I think that depends on the media part, the part that the media play, because of course there is media sources that do literally just go off what someone's told them and go, right, there we go, that's a transfer rumor. And it's not as simple as that. There's so much more to it. And I mean, even the little hints on social media, although people go, yeah, but it's a load of rubbish. It's like, well, there's something in that comment. Do you know what I mean? That comment that Nico Williams made the other night under Brennan Johnson's post. I mean, people see it as just a comment, but I don't think it is. I think there's more to it. He's got an underlying intention there. There's a great chemistry between them both. And I think that's another reason why I'd have Nico Williams at the club, because him and Johnson get on so well. And that is so important if you want a team to succeed. You can buy all the best players in the world, but there's no guarantee they'll get on and play well together. You know what I mean? So this is it.
That energy that we've kept from last season. That's the
thing.
So that can only be a good thing.
Morale's high. People think that just because we're in the Premier League and, the players know that it's going to be challenging, there's going to be hard days, that all of a sudden morale's low. It's not. These guys have just been promoted for the first time in 23 years. They've never felt better. For Steve Cooper, who's, this is his third attempt trying to get promotion with a team, it's amazing. Third time lucky and he's done it, so... Well, third time lucky with the transfers as well. Perhaps we'll sign Dean Henderson, and who knows who's going to come next, Nico Williams or Morgan Gibbs-White. We've just got to put in the bid first. So for everybody listening, I'm reading your comments now. Absolutely amazing. Keep commenting it. Let us know your thoughts. Who do you think will be the third signing? Do you think it'll be Williams? Do you think it'll be Aribo? Do you think it'll be Morgan Gibbs-White, Toffolo? Who are you thinking? And how much do you think we will get them for? World-class manager. I think Steve Cooper, and I'm not going to say he's a world-class manager yet, because I think, we've got to be properly realistic now. But I think he has all the bearings to become one of the best managers in the world for me. And I was speaking to someone who said to me that they think that he's one of the closest managers to a manager like Klopp, in terms of how he recruits, how he plays, and how he treats players and deals with the club. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that Steve Cooper has the bearings to become one of the world's best managers and manage potentially a top team, if not take us up there, sometime in the future? What are you thinking about that, Nico?
My thoughts were, and I'm a bit worried about this. I'd think that he'd get. Well, there was already talk about him possibly getting the England job at some point, and I think he'd. I don't want to say it, but it's like, I don't think he'd leave Forest if we're in the Premier League for another Premier League club. But if an offer comes like that in for an international team, it's something you can't refuse. I know he's not English, but that is just a massive job, being an England manager, and I genuinely think he'd do a really good job.
Isn't it one of the highest paid jobs in football as well? I'm pretty sure it's the highest paid, like one of the highest paid managerial jobs. I mean, other than Atletico Madrid, it's pretty high paid. I'm pretty sure it is. What do you think about that, Isa? Do you think he's got the bearings to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's high paid if your name's Fabio Capello, because he was on like 5-6 million a year, wasn't he? Like that. So,
ridiculous sums.
But I kind of agree with Nick. I think I don't think he'd leave for another Premier League team. And he is potentially. Let's not. Let's big him up, and let's not big him up too much. But I do like his style, and I do like. See, I hate Liverpool. I grew up hating Liverpool. But Jurgen Klopp has made me like Liverpool, so I do think there's a lot of similarities.
I'm the opposite.
Are you?
So you dislike Liverpool?
He moans way too much.
What, you don't like him because of Klopp? Is that what you're saying, Nick?
I've never.
He hates them more. He hates them more.
Yeah. I never felt the rivalry with Liverpool because I've never seen him in the Premier League. I've never really known it.
That has to be discussed. People that say, yeah, this is hard because, when people ask me the question of, oh, do you hate Liverpool? I'm like, but do you know what? I do admire them in a lot of ways. And believe me, I don't in any way see them as a club that I admire or like. I'm Forest, I'm Celtic, and I probably shouldn't have said that. Forest, Celtic, and that's just how it is. I'll kick myself out of my own stream. 52 of you on now. Please subscribe. And as Pets, Plants, and Fish Tanks has said, just drop us a like and subscribe, guys. It would mean the world to me. But yeah, as we were saying, I think you have to admire how Liverpool have done. I think you have to look at their recruitment first of all and go, that is something we should look up to, because Liverpool's recruitment is absolutely amazing. To think that, it could have been affordable for us should we have been in the Premier League a bit earlier on. Luis Diaz, they got him for what, 30 something million? That is an extremely good buy. You have to look at their recruitment and go, I'm going to take a leaf out of your book there, whether you like Liverpool or not. Absolutely amazing. And in my opinion, actually the best recruitment perhaps in the world for me. I don't know what you guys think of that, because I don't want to go off too much on a Liverpool tangent, but take a leaf out of Liverpool's book in recruitment.
I probably agree with you, definitely, because if you look at when they have really smashed the record, it's been on the best of the best. So they ended up getting Alisson in, and they paid top dollar for Van Dijk, the two best players in that position that they could have possibly got. So they don't waste money like Man U do. I'm a bit of a tangent about Man U because they do annoy me. The amount of money they've thrown up, and they just, maybe it's just a manager, because you can do a lot with that money if you've got the right manager in place. But when I see players being paid over the odds, purely just for the sake of it, I don't think Liverpool have done that. I don't think they've thrown. They've had obviously a couple of players that haven't worked out, but then look at what we did with Coutinho. They sold him and managed to get Salah in and Mane in, and look what happened, and that took them to the next level. So they don't waste money like some of the other Premier League big so-called big clubs do, but they are a genuine big club, and I hate saying that. I really do hate saying that, honestly. Trust me, it hurts. But no, I'll admit it. They're a team that I'd love to emulate what they're doing. They're as good as Man City are. Liverpool have got the history as well as what they're achieving right now. So I think they're the team to try and look up to and maybe model ourselves on. And I do think there is similarities because Steve Cooper's worked in that environment, so he knows how that club operates, and there's no doubt he's got his links, he's got his tactics, and there's a lot that he will have bought into Forest from Liverpool.
What are your thoughts on that, Nico?
Yeah, I do like their recruitment stuff, and I think we talked about it before on a previous podcast. It's that I think they're still in the plus, like as in profit wise, because the fact that they are considering selling Mane and Salah. Well, Mane's gone, hasn't he? Means that they're going to reinvest that money, but they're not going to splash it on someone ridiculous. Like, I don't know how much Pogba they paid for Pogba, Man U, but 100 million or something like that. But they get in the right players without the egos, I think. And I think that's one of the main things that they do. They try and not buy the big egos and the big names, but they're getting quality and ambition as well with it.
Well, arguably, I think Darwin Núñez quite a big signing. I mean, maybe a bit of a gamble as well, but that's a massive, massive money gamble. And we've got Pets, Plants and Fish. I can't agree with you on that one as much as I don't like Liverpool. Liverpool have won a Champions League in that time and numerous domestic cups as well. So you may have to, as much as I would love to say, they've only won one thing.
They're the only team challenging Man City. Otherwise, every season that Premier League would be, this Premier League, one that we're in now, would be an absolute cakewalk for Man City. There's no other team challenging them. And look how much you go 17, 18 game winning runs and they still can't win the league. So, no, I wouldn't knock. As much as I'm not a big fan of Liverpool, I would not knock them at all. They're a top quality team.
Absolutely. There's a lot of quality in that team, and I think next season as well, or this coming up season, is going to be very interesting. And in fact, I'm going to ask you all a question about this season because we're going off tangent a bit. We've got someone saying Leicester's recruitment is what we need to look at. Potentially, actually, I think they've got decent academy in some aspects as well. But I'd Leicester. I'm not really that interested, 4-1 and all that.
Can I jump in for a second? I'm gonna have to be a Judas, mate. I'm jumping streams now. I've got to join the door in a bit.
Yeah, he's going to do it.
I know I'm going to do it. I'm so sorry. Bless you, but thank you for having me on, guys. And Nick, we'll definitely catch up again because I really enjoyed talking. I'll talk Forest all day, mate. Bless you. But
appreciate it.
And guys, smash that like button. And subscribe. Make sure you guys subscribe. Take care. I'm gonna catch you. I'm sure you're gonna join me soon. Anyway, I'll see you on the flip side. Yeah?
Hey, I'll be there very soon, mate. Okay, well, you take care. Okay, and that was EZ, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. And yeah, it's still me and Nico here. We're going to be closing in and kind of leaving in a few minutes. 50 people in here, about 48 people. Absolutely amazing, guys. If you could just, drop us a subscribe, means a lot to me. And also, Nico, I know you'll be doing some cool things in the future, which I won't reveal. But, I'll give everybody a little hint. Not just yet. We're going to keep it quiet. But this season, 6th of August, Newcastle. But before that, we've got pre-season. Now, it's important that we look at the pre-season because obviously, perhaps some of you are wanting to go to the pre-season. I wish you all the best getting to Germany if you're going to go. If you already live there, fantastic, because that's probably the only way people are going to get there. I was looking at Ryanair flights, £311 for a return. Absolutely unreal. And we've got Coventry on Friday, the 8th of July, which is what would be, I think, probably next week. Would it be? Would it be next week? Next Saturday?
Yeah.
Say maybe next Sunday. And then we've got Tuesday the 12th, which is Burton at Burton. And then looking at it, we've got Barnsley at Oakwell. That's an odd one, isn't it? Hoffenheim over at the Pirelli Stadium and Union Berlin over at the Stadion an der Alten Freizei, if that's how you say it.
So quite a pronunciation.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not how you say it, but I'm going to go with it anyway. What are people's thoughts on that? Pre-season any good? Just let me know. And I know a few people are jumping over to Doors Stream. I do recommend that you jump over to Doors Stream. People go, we can't keep up with all the Forest YouTubers now.
Yeah, we need a schedule. You need to sort out a schedule. So
me and Dor, we've already had to make the deal today. I said, look, do you know what he said to me? He said, what time are you finishing your stream, mate? And I was like, about 9:30. And he was like, oh, come on, I'm starting at 9. I was like, okay, do you know what? Just for my viewers and his viewers, we're going to cut it there. So do you know what we're going to do? We're going to make a parting note with Nico saying what your favourite stadium is to go to this season and why, and then we're going to cut off the stream. So what do you think?
I
love this.
God, I've not really thought about it before. It's to be honest, I've never been to Anfield.
You're on. Is Anfield the one? I was going to say I'm counting down now. Yeah.
I don't like these soulless bowls, and that is a traditional stadium and 2 traditional clubs with great anthems before the game and stuff.
I was going to say, I want to hear that. I want to hear Jerry and the Pacemakers before the game. I want to hear that.
Yeah, because I mean, it sounds weird me saying this, but obviously Mull of Kintyre it always gets me emotional. And especially when I've listened to the full version and stuff, which I've never sung. I'd love to sing it or to hear it and stuff. But that Liverpool anthem as well, it gets me emotional because it's just that pure passion of football. And I'd love to go to Anfield. I can't wait.
It's what football's all about, guys. And, if you're all about football, then you're all about the media, man. So I suggest that you just go down below, just down there, and drop us a subscription. There's only 42 of you there now. So I know you're jumping over to Doors Stream. I know what you're doing. Okay. I can see you. I mean, I know Ben here, look, loyal to media, man. I love it. Don't have to be loyal to me, though, because Door's an amazing YouTuber as well. And I really recommend you subscribe to him because he deserves that 10K. He's been doing this for years. And I messaged him a couple of years ago when I was just a younger lad saying that I really liked his stuff and that I hoped I can come on one day. And look, we've managed to come on a couple of times. So thank you all very much for listening. I'm so gutted that I've got to wait a week to do this because believe me, throughout this week, I've just been begging that it's going to happen.
I'm excited too.
I've been so excited to come and do this stream, and to say that we've had 55 people on at the very peak of it tonight. I'm so thankful. It means the absolute world for you to all have joined me tonight. Believe me, you make my honestly, it's just a dream for this to happen every single time I come on here, and to share it with someone as great as Nico, a great friend of mine. Then it's just even better, isn't it? So thank you all very much for joining. Everybody's off to doors. Thank you very much, Lewis, for your kind comments. Make sure you tune over to doors right now, because it's starting right now, and drop me a subscription as well if you can. Take care, everybody. Nico, thank you very much, and have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you on Door on Tours channel. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.